81.6% of Sun readers that we asked this week think Harry shouldn't get taxpayer-funded protection. 7% said he should. 1% said they're on the fence. Fine, okay. So 90, that's pretty. You're right. I mean, public opinion is of the thought that taxpayers shouldn't be paying for him because he's made his bed. He's given up his privileges. He's not a working member of the royal family, so we shouldn't have it. The other argument is that apparently the claim is that it could actually be cheaper to just have a couple of salaried officers 4 or 5 times. They've already got the salary 4 or 5 times a year, armed protection officers rather than individual police forces every time he comes over. But it is a real problem. One thing I would say is he's got to be careful what he wishes for, because what if he loses? Where does he? Before we move on to the next topic, if he was to lose this RMB after the 5-year court case, after all the allegations he made in that BBC report about an establishment stitch-up, all the lobbying that he's doing, where does he go from there? Who's to blame?
Well, then, yes, exactly. And in the same vein, not just what if he loses the assessment, but what if the Home Office then say, oh, well, actually, with this new information, we're going to downgrade what you do have because he has been getting armed police protection in certain circumstances, and that is something that could be taken away. But the interesting thing about the RMB assessment is that it's just information. It's not a decision on whether you get the police team or not. It's just the analysis that then feeds into the RAVEC chair's decision on what arrangement should be made available. And it's not like the RAVEC chair is going to be sitting there thinking, oh, Harry, no one wants to do anything to him, do they? He only served in Afghanistan. Like it's a really weird thing for Harry to bet all his money on the idea that this one risk assessment is going to be a game changer.
Yeah.
Let's get one thing straight, right out the gate. Prince Harry asking for security is not about ego, privilege, or nostalgia for royal trappings. It's about risk, responsibility, and reality. And anyone pretending otherwise is either unserious or deliberately dishonest. Because here's the inconvenient truth critics don't want to touch. Harry didn't quit being a target when he quit being a working royal. And no amount of keep your head down advice changes that. So today, we're breaking down why Harry's renewed fight for UK security isn't a Megxit rewrite. It's a reckoning. And why the attempt to shame him into silence could backfire spectacularly. Let's go. Critics keep repeating this line. Harry is trying to quietly rewrite the Megxit deal. But here's the first receipt. There was never a fixed, permanent security settlement. When Harry and Meghan stepped back in 2020, security decisions were moved under RAVEC, the UK government's Royal and VIP Executive Committee. That body explicitly said security would be handled case by case, based on risk, not title. That's not Harry's framing. That's official policy. So when Harry asks for a new risk assessment, he's not breaking rules. He's following them. If the risk has changed, the protection must be reassessed. Anything else would be negligence. The loudest advice from commentators is this: Harry should stop fighting and keep his head down. But let's translate that honestly. What they really mean is accept vulnerability quietly so we don't have to deal with the consequences. Harry is not a random private citizen. He is the son of a reigning king, a globally recognizable figure, a military veteran, someone who has already lost a parent to media-driven recklessness. Receipt: UK courts have acknowledged that Harry faces credible security threats, including from extremist actors. Keeping his head down doesn't reduce risk, it increases it. Silence is not safety. When Harry and Meghan stepped back, security was supposed to remain based on risk, not role. Instead, automatic police protection was downgraded to a case-by-case system. Now, every visit to the UK requires Harry to apply for security, introducing dangerous delays. Threats don't wait for committee approvals. Harry isn't breaking rules. He's challenging a flawed system that leaves him exposed. He's even offered to pay for police protection himself, removing the taxpayer burden. His request is for access to the level of security only police can provide. It's about keeping his family safe, not seeking privilege. Critics ask why Harry can't just hire private security, but private guards have major limitations. In the UK, they can't carry firearms or access classified intelligence. They lack the authority and resources of state protection. In a real emergency, private teams can't match the capabilities of police. Royal protection is an integrated system: bodyguards, intelligence and legal authority. Harry's risk profile demands more than private security can offer. The state-run system exists for threats beyond private firms' reach. Harry's legal challenge is about access to this system, not just bodyguards. By offering to pay, he addresses cost concerns without compromising safety. Private guards can deter minor threats, but only state protection can counter serious attacks. Denying him this leaves his family exposed. Critics label Harry's actions Megxit 2.0, but this misses the point. It's not about reclaiming royal perks, it's about managing the risks he was born into. The security issue is unfinished business from his royal departure. He's not asking to return as a working royal, just for a practical solution to a real threat. The Megxit 2.0 label distracts from the real questions. What duty of care does the state owe, and can it be withdrawn arbitrarily? Expecting Harry to stay silent about his family's safety is both unrealistic and cruel. The media's narrative oversimplifies a matter of life and death. The real issue is accountability, consistency, and the right to safety. Harry is caught in a contradiction, too private for state protection, too public to be ignored. Officially, he's a private citizen, but his presence is always a matter of public interest. His identity ensures he'll never have true anonymity. The state can't deny him protection while treating him as a public figure. This leaves Harry and his family in a dangerous limbo. The system tells him he's on his own, yet never lets him fade from public view. It's a bureaucratic stance that values protocol over real danger. The risk to his life isn't tied to his job, it's tied to who he is. The institution must adapt to the blurred lines between public and private in the modern age. Duty of care should extend to those who carry the burden of royal birth, regardless of their role. This legal battle isn't about privilege, it's about accountability. Harry wants to know, was his security removed based on risk or on politics and public perception? Demanding transparency isn't an attack on the monarchy, it's a call to strengthen it. If security decisions are swayed by politics, the whole system's credibility is at risk. Safety should be determined by risk, not role. Harry's insistence is a sign of strength, a father refusing to let his children inherit danger. So let's end on this. Prince Harry isn't rewriting Megxit. He's rewriting the assumption that stepping away means surrendering safety. He's not chasing status. He's demanding accountability. And history tells us something crucial. When powerful systems resist reasonable scrutiny, it's usually because the scrutiny is justified. This isn't noise, this is pressure, and pressure reveals everything. The safety of a family should never be up for debate.